Hey, what's up everyone? Well, a couple things have happened since my last video. One, we made it through the holidays. Cheers. Two, we made it to 2022. New Year's Eve is over. Cheers. Good beer. And we hit 1,000 subscribers and we're past that now. So just wanted to say thank you to everyone, and I appreciate the support, and it's way farther than I ever imagined. I was thinking friends and family would subscribe and nobody would watch, but you proved me wrong and I appreciate that. Thank you. Cheers. So today we are going to use the plugin for SyncThing in TrueNAS. So let's hop over to the desktop and get to it. All right, so before we get started installing SyncThing on TrueNAS, let's have a quick overview of what we have going on here. Now, right there in the middle we have our TrueNAS server, and then you'll see we have a PC1 and PC2. So what we're going to do is we're going to install SyncThing on our TrueNAS server first. After that, we're going to install it on our PC1, followed up by sharing a file from PC1 with the TrueNAS server. We'll let it go through, it's copying everything over, and then we're going to go through, you can actually take this and connect a PC2 to it and share a file from it, or if you want, you can share the same file from PC1 to PC2 so that whenever anything gets changed on PC1, it will update on the TrueNAS server, and then it will update on PC2. And it'll keep everything up to date. Now, PC1 and 2, they can be laptops, they can be whatever you want. You can even get an app for your cell phone, so you can save your pictures or any important information that you want to have. SyncThing's not a backup, but it's just nice to have it in another place. So the way we have it right here, I think it's called a star setup or something like that. I don't know, but this is the way I do it. You can also set this up to where you're sharing a file all the way around, so it goes into a circle. Instead of having to go to the TrueNAS server and back out to PC2, you can set it up to where it just updates everything all in one shot. So I know this is a very messy looking little drawing I tried to throw out there for you, but hopefully you get the idea of what we're setting up and maybe why we're setting it up. So all right, let's jump into TrueNAS and get going. All right, after you get logged into your TrueNAS server, first thing you're going to do is go down to plugins, and it's going to ask you to choose a plugin for your storage, for your jail. It's going to create a jail that SyncThing's going to run in, and we only have, or I only have, one data pool set up, and it's called Tank. So I'm going to pick Tank, and I'm going to choose it using pool Tank. All right, close. The next thing we're wanting to do is, well, I'm going to show you this real quick. These are plugins that SyncThing, the creators of SyncThing, have already tested and used, and they know these things work. But if you click on this little arrow right here and you hit on Community, these are all plugins that the community has created for quick installation on SyncThing, or not SyncThing, TrueNAS. Sorry, hopefully I've been saying TrueNAS, not SyncThing. But we'll go ahead and go back to our standard ones. We're going to click on SyncThing, and then we're going to click Install. So all we really need to do here is give it a name, give the jail a name. So I'm going to call it SyncMe, and I'm going to hit save. Now you can go into the advanced plugin installation options if you want. I don't really find any reason to, so I just go with the standard, go with the flow, do the easy thing. I have had this appear to where it's locked up and it hasn't done anything, like it's sat on 20% for 10 minutes or whatever. It really depends on what kind of hardware you have and how quick it is. So if you think it's just dead in the water, just leave it alone. run downstairs, make some clam chowder or something. I don't know, whatever floats your boat, but let it go. Now, if it sits for a half hour or something, then something probably went wrong. Just refresh it, reinstall it. Eventually, it will uh, complete the installation. All right, that took a total of 8 minutes to install. Not bad. So once you hit close, it's going to bring you back to the plugin menu. We're going to hit that arrow just to make that smaller. And you'll see here's our plugin. It's already running, and it has a few options here. But if we go to jails, you can see it also created a jail in the jails, obviously, that you can also do a few different things from. I also want to point out that if you go up to storage into pools, it created this IO cage data set, and that's where whenever you put a plugin in or create a jail, this is where that jail is going to be created. So if we click on that, you can just look, it's got different options in here. If you click on jails, you can see right there's sync me. So just wanted to let you know, don't be surprised if you see that in your data pool all of a sudden. So let's go back to plugins. And let's just make sure it's up and running by hitting manage there. So okay, it's up and running. Do you want to send anonymous information? Up to you. I'm just going to click no. The next thing it's going to want you to do is give the SyncThing GUI a username and password. So let's go ahead and do that. It's going to bring up, it's asking you for a password, but it brings up the general tab to start off with. I don't know why it doesn't just bring up the GUI tab. So right here, GUI authorization user. I'm going to put low res in, and then put your password in. And hit save. So now it's going to want you to enter your username and password. Okay, so now we're logged back in. So the jail is up and running, but if we connect another computer and try to share a directory or a file to it, it will not be able to do that because we haven't given it any storage to store those things to. So we need to create a mount point. So let's go ahead and do that. Now we're going to go back to storage. We're going to click on pools, and then in our tank pool, we're going to hit add data set. I'm just going to give it a name of sync me again so that I know they correspond to each other. You can fart around with all this stuff in the advanced options if you want. I've never found any reason to, so I just hit submit, and here we go. There's our data set. So if we go to edit permissions right now, the permission is root and the group is wheel. I'm sorry, the user's root and the group is wheel. But when SyncThing was installed, it created its own user called SyncThing, and it gave it a unique UID number. The way we're going to find that UID number is it under there? Nope. We're going to go to jail, click on the little arrow to expand it, and we're going to go into the shell. So click on shell, and once it comes up, click ID space SyncThing. You will see right there is your UID number 983. As far as I know, it has the same UID number every time, but I at least wanted to show you how to find that instead of just giving you a number, a random number, that you don't know where I got it from. So now we need to create a SyncThing user with the UID number. So we go up to accounts, we go to user. It's just going to give me a warning that all the standard stuff is hidden right now. No big deal. We're going to hit add, and we want to create a user called SyncThing. Now, SyncThing, there's too many letters in it for that, so we're just going to call the username Sync. You can give it an email address if you want to. Give it a password. Okay, and then down here at the UID number, right there, that guy right there, you need to change this. If you do not change this, it's not going to work for you. So you're just going to change it to 983. We're good to go there. I want to click on user so it takes effect for the users. I want to permit sudo, and I'm going to go ahead and click on Microsoft account. Then we're going to submit it. All right, and it has now created our new user of Sync. So let's go back to our storage pools, SyncMe, and we're going to edit our permissions. And we are going to change this guy to sync. We're going to we're going to check the apply user. We are going to change the group to sync. We're going to apply the user. We're going to hit group. We're going to permit recursively. And what recursively does is every directory that's created under that data set has the user of sync and the group of sync. And we're going to click save. And let's go back, edit permissions, and let's actually use a ACL, and you can see it's got some stuff set up in here. I'm going to delete these bottom two, and I'm going to change this over. This is just what seems to work for me the best, and I'm going to change it to sync, and then allow. I have chosen permissions advanced, and under here you can change the different permissions that you want. I'm just going to give it permissions to do everything. And then you need to change the flag to inherit. Again, we're going to hit apply permissions recursively, confirm, and then we're going to save it. Now with that, that should have given our user sync permission to write to that data set, to permission to delete from that data set, and whatever else you gave it permission to do. So that is set up. So now we need to go back to plugins. Click on the little arrow there and mount point. Click on mount point. We want to add a mount point, so you click action, add. Cannot be running. Oh, all right. So there's something we got to do is we need to shut it down first. So let's click stop. Now let's click mount points. Action, add. And you want to tell it. The top one here is which data set you want to use. We want to use SyncMe, so I just clicked on the arrows and drilled down to where it is. Click on SyncMe and we're good to go. And we want to connect that to our mount right here. And if you want it to be read only, you can click that. Obviously we don't, because we need to write to the data set. And then we'll hit submit. And let's go back to plugins and start it back up. I don't know if you can hear that downstairs, but my wife is playing Tyler Childers at full volume, and if you haven't heard him, you might want to check him out. Pretty good stuff. So okay, so it should be up and running, ready to go. So let's go ahead and click on manage again, and here it is. It's running. I want to point this out real quick to you. You'll notice that up here our IP address is 230, and it happens to be the exact same IP address of our TrueNAS. And the reason that is because when SyncThing was installed, they also installed Nginx, which is a reverse proxy that instead of having a new IP address for all of your jails and everything, it'll just have the same IP address, but you'll utilize a different port to access your jail. And if you don't know what Nginx is, here I'm going to link a video up here in the corner. Go ahead, check it out. I kind of try to give a quick explanation of what it is and how it works. Hopefully you'll get some use out of that. And okay, so it's installed on our TrueNAS server, but it's not, SyncThing is not installed on a Windows machine, a phone, or anything like that. So that's our next step, is we want to jump over into a Windows desktop, and I created a temporary Windows virtual machine. So I'm going to jump into that. We're going to click on Internet Explorer, bring that up, and we are going to this website. I'll have this link in the description, as well as some quick instructions on how to do this. And once this page comes up, we want this guy right here, SyncThing, I guess is what you call it. It's a window tray utility where it installs SyncThing on your Windows system, and it keeps it down in the bottom tray so it's not up in your face all the time bothering you. So let's click on that. and it's going to bring us to the GitHub page for it, and we're going to scroll down, and the one that we want, choose 0, is this guy right here, Sync Trezor Portable X64. Click on that zip file, and yeah, let's go ahead and save it and let it download. Alright, once the download's completed, let's go ahead and get out of Windows Explorer or Edge or whatever that crap is called. And we're going to go into our downloads file, and we are going to unzip this file. And yeah, we're going to keep it in the same place. Okay, so now that it's unzipped, let's go into that directory and scroll down. Oh, where are you at? Right here. Sync Trezor. Double click on him. It should be an exe file. I just haven't set the Windows Explorer up yet to show that's what it is. It's going to think it's a virus. So just click on that and then run anyway. There you go. We're installed and we want to allow it. And here you go. It's going to say the same things as it did before. Do you want to share information? That's up to you. And then it's going to want you to set a username. Let's save it. So alright, we are up and running. But we haven't shared anything yet. We've got SyncThing installed on the systems that we want to share back and forth between. So I actually, on this desktop, I created a temporary file, threw a couple videos in it, and we're going to share that to the TrueNAS server. When you start this up, it always puts this default file in here. You don't need that, so you just click and then click Edit, and we're going to remove it. Yes, we want to remove it. So I want to add a folder that I want to share. So give it a name. I'm going to call it temp, and then tell SyncThing where that folder is. So I'm going to click on Browse, this PC, and I want to share, let's go C drive, and I want to share the temp file, and I want to select it. Alright, so it has it, and sharing this stuff we don't need to worry about right now, and you click Save. So it's going to scan just to see what's in there, just so it knows what's in there, but now we need to set it up to where it can share it to the server. The way I'm going to do that is we're going to add a remote device. It's going to ask for a device ID. It looks like it's already sharing something across the network. But if it doesn't do that for you, go back into your SyncThing setup on your TrueNAS server, click Actions, Show ID, and this ID number right here is what you want. So you just highlight it, right click, copy, go back to your desktop, click Control V to paste it in. Looks like it might, no, it didn't pick it up, picked up one of the other ones. Give it a device name, we named it SyncMe, and then we click Save. And now SyncMe, our desktop knows that the server has a SyncMe name. So we're still not connected though, so what we need to do is we need to go back to our SyncThing on the TrueNAS, and you'll see the desktop extended an invitation out to the server and to add its device, and we want to go ahead and click Add Device. You can give it a different name if you want. You can call it whatever you want. Click Save, and now the two know that they exist, but they still haven't shared any files back and forth yet. So a lot of back and forth here. Sorry about that. So we need to go back into our desktop system, click on the file that we set up to share, click on Edit, and then we want to go to Sharing. And look at that, there's SyncMe. So click the X, click Save, and it's going to reach out and say, hey, I want to share this file with you. So again, back to your server SyncThing, and so back to your server SyncThing, and it has extended an invitation out to the server to share this file. Click Add, give it a name. Now this is where you want to tell it to mount it where you want it to save it at. And we want to save it to our mount, which is the SyncMe dataset, and it's going to give it a name of temp already. It's just copying the name of temp and giving it the name of temp. And we'll click save right there. And you can see it started sharing the files already. It's copying them over into our data set. Now I'm going to throw a picture up here, and if you get this error when you try to share it, it's a permission error. If you get this, that means you didn't set up your user correctly, and you need to go back and fix that and then try it all over again, and it should work. And with that, SyncThing is now set up on a desktop and your server and are sharing files back and forth, or syncing the files up, I guess I should say, not sharing. So follow the same steps, add another computer, add a cell phone, add more files, do whatever you need to do, but it just gives you that little option. So let's say you're on vacation, you got your laptop, there's something, your picture or something you want to fart around and edit with, or whatever, who knows what your use case is. You can use that laptop, connect up to the internet. It's still going to sync everything back to the server at home, and vice versa. You know, let's say you got an editor or something like that. I'm not going to have an editor ever, but let's say somehow that happens. I could set up a user group, blah, 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 all this stuff for an editor, and I can work on stuff here at home, and the editor in, I don't know, Guam or whatever can edit the videos for me and have everything synced together so that when they make changes or I do, we're both aware of them. So hopefully this wasn't too confusing, too all over the place or anything like that. Hopefully you get some use out of it. Again, thanks for the support. I never expected to hit, 100 subscribers, let alone go over 1,000 subscribers. And don't forget, reach down and karate chop that like button and roundhouse kick that subscribe button, and catch you later.